On today's Locked On Angels, we're answering a bunch of your questions, and of course, we got to talk about the big news. Jose Mota is not returning to the Angels in 2022. Lots to talk about today on today's Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Locked On Angels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I want to thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Steve Granado. You can follow me on Twitter at Steve Granado. And of course, Locked On Angels over on Twitter. That is our main Twitter account. And if you're here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We are getting close to 900 subscribers, of course, with our goal still being 1,000 by opening day. All right, guys, just a reminder, today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season, more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Like I said, we have a bunch of questions we have to get to. It is a Monday mailbag. You guys send your questions in over on Twitter at Locked On Angels. You call my voicemail line, 714-409-6396. We have a voicemail later on in the show, and we're answering your questions. But here in this first segment, let's talk about Jose Mota. We're going to get some reactions from you guys, answer some of the questions you sent in about Jose. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the lockout in our second segment, something about the farm system, some prospects to look out for, how does spring training going to work out, and then we have a rapid fire segment at the end. So let's go ahead and get to all that right now. Let's start with the big news. So Jose Mota, just a couple days ago, posted on Twitter, posted on Instagram that he is not returning to the Angels broadcast booth anymore. This is what he's had to say over on his Instagram. He said, 20 years have flown by. After much thought and prayer, it's time for a new chapter. I will not be returning to the Angels organization and the Bally Sports West team this upcoming season. While this is totally and entirely my decision, I remain grateful for experience my last year in a prominent TV broadcast position. I so cherish all of the moments I have made since joining the organization, from the 2002 World Series championship to my friend Shohei's historic season in 2021, but especially connecting with players, staff, and fans. Thank you for welcoming me to the Angels family all those years ago. Mr. Team Meade for his confidence in my talents, the Walt Disney Company, Artie Moreno, John Carpino, and everybody else. And he wishes the very best to all his colleagues and everyone within the organization moving forward. With God's guidance and my family support, I look forward to exploring where new opportunities will lead. I hope to share some exciting news with you all soon. So this was a bit of a shocking announcement, right? Kind of out of nowhere. Just personally, I've always looked up to Jose Mota. When I first started working in this industry, I was still in school at Cal State Fullerton, where, of course, Jose went. I know I toss that in anytime I can. But Jose was one of the first guys that took me seriously. And that just was so huge for me. I interviewed him spring training 2013. And he was so gracious, so nice, so patient, and was just such a great role model, and always has been a big role model for me. So seeing him walk away it's hurt. It hurts a little, man. He has always been such a smart guy and such a great asset to the Angels broadcast that not a ton of teams have. And it is a bummer to watch him leave. I mean, I get it. Again, he's saying that it is his choice, which is always a much better sign than it being the opposite of that. But hey, man, it's a grind, dude. Like, covering baseball's hard. It's tiring. You miss out on family events. You miss out on your summers. You miss out on a lot of stuff. And then, of course, Jose played. So he has been in this game for a very long time. And it is more than worthwhile for him to walk away and start a new chapter of his life. And I wish all the best to Jose Mota. He has only been an incredible asset for me personally, an incredible role model for me. And it is a tough one. I know that Angels fans are tough. I saw all the tweets you guys were sending us over the weekend. Here's some of them you guys sent us. Some questions that have to do with Jose Mota. This is coming from Michael Hawkins 83 on Twitter. We seem to be losing a lot of folks on the broadcast side. Do you think it's just a coincidence or something deeper within the organization? Thanks, Michael, for asking this, and a completely legitimate thing to wonder, right? I don't think that there's like something behind the scenes that's going on. The only thing that really, there's been a couple of things that have been confusing to me from the broadcast front. From my understanding, the broadcasting positions, at least some of them, have been freelance work technically, so they get paid like by game, so they're not like salaried employees. And then also, you know, that Bally Sports comes in with that, the Fox Sports thing. Like there was a lot going on the last year and a half or so, switching over and all that kind of stuff. You know, I liked Jose being a bigger part of the broadcast. I thought he would have had an even bigger role now with Patrick O'Neill taking over some play-by-play stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's something deeper. Alex Curry left for a bigger job. Victor Rojas it was time for him to go. He was tired and he wanted to be with his family and his wife, and completely understandable, man. Like I said, this is a very grueling industry and very grueling sport to cover. So I completely understand when people are ready to leave. It makes total sense. I don't think there's something bigger going on. I think you should quell those fears right now. We have another question that I want to talk about here. This is coming from Rodolfo Vasquez. Hey, what's up, man? I don't think you've checked in before, so thanks for checking in. Saying, I was going to ask something about the players, but with Jose Mota gone, who do you think the Angels would replace Jose with, to speak to guys like Jose Suarez, Iggy, Diaz, Marte, Paguero, pretty much all the Spanish-speaking players. So I wanted to bring this tweet up because this is one of the really, really amazing things about Jose is his ability to translate. That is so hard to find. It is so hard to find, A, good reporter, B, that is fluent in English, C, that is fluent in Spanish. It's a very tough job. It's a very nerve-wracking job to have to translate live. It is not easy. I've tried to do it. It's very, very hard. I am not a 100% fluent Spanish speaker, but I can, I'm a conversational Spanish speaker. So having to translate live and like really taking meaning of what players are saying is really, really difficult. So that was the one thing that really stood out to me about Jose, aside from his deep baseball knowledge and his ability to entertain and celebrate the sport and celebrate the players. But yeah, that's the hard part. Who's going to replace them? There's not really replacing Jose Mota. Of course, there have been some Spanish-speaking, English-speaking broadcasters throughout the years. Victor wasn't fluent in Spanish. We know that. But I don't know. There's not like an obvious answer in my head right now. I think they'll probably go to what most other teams end up doing is just having a translator on staff, right? Doing something like that, or getting a coach to translate. That's always been the case. Major League Baseball teams are required to have somebody available for translating purposes. That is a requirement by Major League Baseball, but that doesn't always turn out to be like an actual, like the rule is supposed to be like a dedicated translator. Sometimes that turns out to be a bench coach or a catching coach or a pitching coach or whatever, that kind of thing. So I don't know what the Angels are going to end up doing. They obviously need to hire somebody unless Kent French can take over that spot as the everyday on-field guy. I love Kent French. I think he's great. I think he's very well versed. I think he's a good celebrator of the game as well. So that would be the obvious choice to take over the spot. But I mean, you can't replace Jose Mota, dude. You just can't. It's like trying to replace Victor Rojas, man. It's tough. These are very tough things, and they touch a place in our hearts. That's why we love these guys. That's why we loved Alex Curry. That's why we loved Jose Mota and Victor Rojas, and that's why we love Gooby. And they're part of our families. We watch them every night, and we're gonna miss Jose 100%. But again, man, best of luck to Jose Mota. If he ends up seeing this, man, you meant a lot on my career. And you still mean a lot to my career. So thank you so much, Jose Mota. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna miss you a lot. Hey guys, editing Steve Granado here. Literally, as I was working on this episode and just finished it, check Twitter and see from the OC Register that it is reported that Jose Mota is actually going to be heading over to the Dodgers broadcast. So that is pretty massive. We will probably talk a little bit more about that on Wednesday's show. I'm not going to redo the entire show, obviously. Pretty big, though. Again, that's coming to the OC Register saying that Jose is likely to join the Spectrum Sportsnet Dodgers team. How you feeling about that? I know that's probably got to feel a little sour for a lot of people. Sentiment still holds, though. Just thought I should throw that in there. We'll talk about it a little bit more in our next episode. This episode is brought to you by Built Bar. This is the time of year that I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions, but not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right thanks to Built Bar. Hey, and by the way, have you tried those puffs yet? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of the best Built Bars they've ever made. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, and they're not just a protein bar, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors: yummy cinnamony churro, a coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. Oh, they're so good. And of course, they're going to be your new favorites. They're low calorie, high protein, and you can replace candy bars with these bad boys. They're better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories. That's way lower with a Built bar. Go to Built.com and scroll down to that macros chart. You'll be blown away with that high protein, low cal, high fiber, and low carb. At Built Bar, they're all about taste. They make it delicious first, then figure out how to make it healthy. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. This episode is also brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. Why would you endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and then wait for the person behind the counter to order the parts? Blah, no, hate it. Just go to rockauto.com. You can save money and time when using Rock Auto. Why would you choose to spend 30, 50, or even sometimes 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or a car dealership? It's a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. The Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every customer. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck, right locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us section, so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Back here on Locked On Angels, your first listen of the day. Hey, it's Super Week, brought to you by Get Upside, and there's no better place to get coverage of the big game than the Locked On NFL podcast. Locked On Bengals and Locked On Rams are in LA all week covering the big game. Go Rams. All right, guys, we have a voicemail here as we kick off our second segment and get more into your questions. Let's do that right now. Let's take a listen to this voicemail.
Hey, Steve, this is James from Kingman, Arizona. I was just wondering if the lockout causes MLB games to be canceled, will players like Adell and Marsh just start off in the minors and continue to play through AAA until the lockout ends and games resume? Or are they now considered major league players who can no longer do that? If you can find out, I'm pretty interested in how it's going to affect young players like that. Thanks.
Hey, James, thanks for calling in. Okay, so the lockout situation. So here's the easiest answer. 40-man players will not be playing in the minor leagues. They cannot play. So if they are on the 40-man, they cannot play. So what do you need to do to find out this 40-man? Go to angels.com, click roster, click 40-man. Those are the players that cannot play minor league baseball if a lockout continues to go. So that includes Jo Adell, that includes Brandon Marsh. Super simple answer. Glad you brought that up. I know that's like kind of in the weeds, but yeah. So if the lockout goes into the season, and the minor league season is still a go, no problems there. The only thing is the 40-man players cannot play for the minor league teams. That's it. Plain and simple. 40-man can't play. Cool. I'm glad we can answer that for you. Thanks again. Give us a call, 714-409-6396. Okay, we're going to stick kind of in this minor league prospects, lockout-y stuff. So let's go ahead and do that right now. This is coming from Angels Fan 1522, Zach saying on Twitter, I was looking forward to pitchers and catchers reporting out without a deal in place. Do you know if there's still a minor league spring training since they aren't unionized? Thanks, Zach, for your question. Yes, there is still a minor league spring training. So they are still reporting. There was a memo sent out by Major League Baseball. Don't move the minor league report dates. Don't change anything just because there might not be a major league side. There is still a minor league side of spring training. They are reporting in February after the Super Bowl. So yes, that is still happening. Don't worry about that. Got another question coming here from Jose Medina. This is in regards to an episode a couple of days ago that we had. I'll leave a link in the episode description to that. This is Jose saying, with the Angels farm system rated as low as it was, why would they trade away the two potential hits in Marsh and Adell? Seems like backwards thinking. Thanks, Jose. So this is in reference to Baseball America's ranking of the Angels farm system at 29th in Major League Baseball. Of course, there are 30 teams, so nearly dead last. Again, we had a whole episode about that, so I'll leave a link to that. But yeah, this is I hadn't thought of it this way, so this is really interesting from Jose. Trading Marsh and Adell, right? are your potential hits. These are the guys. These are part of the reason why the Angels like clocked lower in the rankings is because of these guys graduating, right? And yes, you get Detmers in there, you get Bachman in there now, but you lose Adell and Marsh, who were like top guys in the system. So yes, trading them away, considering the lack of strength in the farm system, at least according to Baseball America and many other experts, of course. I don't know if it's necessarily backwards thinking, but I definitely think that it's an interesting point that you bring up. One could ostensibly flip it on its head and go, well, it's the only assets you have. So you might as well get a pitching prospect out of it or a bona fide major league pitcher, right? That's kind of maybe the flip side of that argument. But yes, I think that's interesting. Let me know in this comment section here on YouTube. Do you think it's backwards, or how do you feel about like now that we have the ranking for the Angels system? How do you feel about the Adell Marsh situation trade going on kind of thing? Let me know in the comment section here on YouTube. Of course, you can tweet me at Locked.Angels as well. All right, I have one more question here in this segment. This is coming from J Cano 89 James over on Twitter. Who are some Angels prospects to follow for the upcoming minor league season? What are your thoughts and opinions on them as well going forward? Thanks, James, for sending in your question. Okay, I'm going to give you three guys that I'm looking forward to in 2022, and they all played at Inland Empire last year, so they're probably going to be starting off maybe in Inland Empire again, but most likely probably around Tri-City. Here are some of the guys. Kyren Paris. Let's start with Kyren Paris. Obviously, he was just outside Keith Law's top 100 prospects. We talked about that a couple of days ago as well, last week. Second rounder, shortstop, 21 years old, actually. Will turn 22 in November, so he just turned 21. I'm excited about Kyren Paris, man. I think I'm excited to see how he progresses season to season. I'm excited to see how the bat comes along, some of the power, and I'm just excited for him, man. I'm just excited for Kyren Paris. I want to see him do well. I want him to take a big stride in 2022. Under the radar guy that I saw in 2021 that I liked, Bryce Teodosio. I've talked about him very, very slightly on this show, but Bryce Teodosio is an undrafted Clemson kid and outfielder. This dude is such an athlete. And you know how the Angels have kind of been doing this over the last, 5 or so years? Just doing like the athlete route. That's what Roberto Baldacchini was. That's what Jo Adell really was. Like they have some tools, but like they're just flat out athletes. Brandon Marsh is one of those guys, right? Football stud too. So Bryce Teodosio kind of fits that mold too. And this dude is so fast. He's got great closing speed in the outfield. I really liked him. I'm excited to see how his bat comes around in 2022. Played at Clemson. The glove is there. The speed is there. The routes in the outfield are some of the best that you will see, especially at Low A last year. So I'm very excited to see what Bryce Teodosio does at Tri-City this year, or maybe even Inland Empire. Very excited. So keep an eye out for that. And then one arm that I'm looking out for, Ryan Costieu. This guy, a little under the radar right now. Right-handed pitcher. He pitched at IE in Tri-City last year. Fastball, changeup. He's got a big spike hammer curve. He is a guy that did not get a ton of looks. He's a guy that has worked on his velocity to get it up into the 90s. He was a Sac State kid. Ended up getting a scholarship to Arkansas. But Ryan Costieu is a dude that I'm really, really looking forward to. I saw him pitch last year. He had some of the better command that I saw at Low A last year in the week that I was down there to watch. Very impressed with Ryan Costieu. Again, some of the best command that I had seen at that age and at that level. That's Costeiu. So keep your eye out for Kyren Paris, Bryce Teodosio, and Ryan Costieu. I really want these guys to take some big strides in 2022. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before, with the big game coming up in less than a week. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just football. BetOnline has up-to-the-minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live, real-time updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new, amazing offers available for the 2022 season. BetOnline, where the game starts. Back here on Locked On Angels, your first listen of the day. All right, guys, so like we've been doing, we did last week, I'm going to do it again this week. We're going to do some rapid fire questions from you guys over on Twitter. All our tweets here today, again, at Locked On Angels. You can always send them in over the weekends. We answer them on Mondays. So let's go ahead and jump right to that. We have a slew of random questions. Let's jump to them right now. This one's coming from Halo's Jam. How many wins will the Angels get next year? In your opinion, I feel we upgraded our bullpen with Loop and our rotation with Thor, so I was thinking 90 plus. Thank you so much. All right, JT, Halo's Jam. I'm going to say 92 wins. If we play a full season and the team is fully healthy, 92 wins right now. They upgraded and downgraded in a couple things, obviously losing Alex Cobb, but you get Thor, but I still think there's a few question marks there. Thanks so much. Okay, this one's coming from Jared Walsh Rakes over on Twitter. Should Walsh sign an extension? Yes, I think the Angels might give Jared Walsh the Fletcher treatment. What do I mean by that? Pre-end of arbitration. Before that contract runs out, I think if Walsh comes out, has a good couple of months, maybe 2 months here to start the season, I don't know, they sign an extension. That's what I think they're going to do with Jared Walsh. I think that would be a good idea, by the way. I like Jared Walsh. Who doesn't like Jared Walsh? Okay, next one. Disappointed Angels fan. What do you think about the Angels catcher situation? Stassi hit .241 last year. Considering his defensive abilities, that's not too bad. Do we extend him or move on? I've answered this question before. I'm going to do it really quick, though. That answer relies on this season. This season is big for Max Stassi. Can he prove that he can come back, have those framing abilities again, and can he get that bat maybe a little bit better? I think the Angels might extend him. They'd have to have a pretty decent year in 2022. Next question, Official Soupy over on Twitter. What are your thoughts on the Angels pitching rotation right now, including bullpen? I personally believe it's better than what most people think. Thanks, Official Soupy. I don't think I've seen you check in before. How could I forget a name like that? Thoughts on Angels pitching rotation? Better than last year. Good, not great. Good, not great. Back end got really good now, but if you're just comparing directly, really all it is Aaron Loop, right? So there you go. Okay, next one, Halos in the infield, buy or sell. Spring training will be abbreviated, but the 2022 season will start on time and all 162 games will continue as scheduled. No, don't think that's going to happen, bro. Sorry about that. I think what happens is we have a 2-week spring training, and then we play 154 games, and then we push like an extra week or whatever. I think we lose some baseball this year, unfortunately, but I think that's what's going to happen. That's just my gut feeling. Sorry about it. Let me know in the comment section if you think I'm wrong. Okay, Manny G18 on Twitter. Are Trout and Rendon 100% fully healthy, and is Syndergaard fully recovered from Tommy John? Trout and Rendon 100% healthy? I have no idea. Trout swinging, though. We saw it over on Twitter. We saw it on Instagram. Trout is swinging. I haven't heard about Rendon. Hopefully they are 100%. Trout looks like he's good to go. Noah Syndergaard fully recovered from Tommy John? I'd imagine so. He pitched at the end of last season. He's had time off. He's been able to work. He's been able to work out. He's been just throwing and all that kind of stuff. Noah Syndergaard, I feel, is probably somewhere around 100% from Tommy John. Okay, last question of the day. Let's get it in quickly. Linda Brandt over on Twitter. Not Angels related, but what Olympic sport are you watching? Thank you, Linda, for giving me a different question. I love this. I'm all in on women's hockey. Love watching Hillary Knight and the girls duke it out on the ice. Looking forward to them versus Canada at some point. Very excited for women's hockey. Very excited for Shaun White's last run in the Olympics. I'm seeing what he's going to do on the Super Pipe this year, going for his last gold. Excited for Chloe Kim on the women's Super Pipe as well. Big snowboarding guy. Been watching a little bit of the slope style as well. I love snowboarding and I love hockey. So those are my two ones that I really look out for. And that like weird biathlon, the ski and shoot thing. That thing's super weird. But I've also been watching curling because that's like the only thing on right now. But yeah, big Olympics guy. I love the Olympics. So, and I'm a big Winter Olympics over Summer Olympics. So thanks so much for your question. You can always be a part of the show. Tweet me at LockedOnAngels at Steve Granado over the weekends. And then we will answer those questions on Mondays. Of course, you can always call us 714-409-6396. All this stuff is in the episode description, guys. Hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. Of course, we are close to 900 subs. Let's keep it going, guys. 1,000 by opening day. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. For your second, check out Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q and Lee Sterling. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We are Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on Locked On Angels. Don't forget to hit auto downloads and the subscribe and like button. It helps us out a ton. All right, guys, we'll talk to you in a couple days. I'm Steve Granado. Later.